Yo. So, psychology is often defined as the science that deals with mental processes and behavior. It used to be that there were two prevailing schools of thought, um, geneticists and behaviorists. The old notion of nature versus nurture. The geneticists were inclined to think that human behavior was derived from heredity and instinct, and often on the news, you used to hear, you probably still do, I don't really pay attention to biased bullshit news anymore, um, but you used to hear reports on some uh, detailed study that claims something like, that there's a genetic predisposition to being Republican or smoking cigarettes, um, that supported the worldview that people are hardwired in some way, and even subtle nuances of behaviors such as inclinations for addiction is genetic or instinctual in some way. And then there were the behaviorists, on the other hand, uh, seeing the human being as a product of conditioning as based on the um, environmental exposure of that person. Therefore, the actions of a person have a source that is derived from experience or triggered train of thought brought on by a learned understanding. Obviously, both views are relevant in certain ways. Our interest in surviving and reproducing is imprinted or genetic in some way, as it is directly associated with fundamental survival. However, the means by which survival is obtained is entirely based on social conditioning of that person. If a person grows up in a scarce, poverty stricken government with limited access to employment, they will have more of a propensity to engage in illegal activities to survive, uh, more so than, say, a middle class person who has their basic needs met. Um, on the other side of the spectrum, if a person with great wealth has grown up in an elitist family and is thus conditioned into thinking that his or her wealth or class serves as a status symbol, they might often exploit those who work for them or perform illegal activities to conform to the identity and social arrogance they think is real. The bottom line is that it is environmental conditioning that really affects 99% of our actions, and all diligent behavior studies have proven this time and time again. Um, People become alcoholics not because they have a genetic predisposition, but because of the influence of their parents or friends. If you abuse a child, very often they grow up to abuse their children. Uh, when mass media promotes a certain idea in society, such as terrorism, the public is conditioned into believing that it is true and it's a real threat regardless of reality. Um, all of this you learn by taking even a high school level psychology class. Um, so basically, the reality is everyone, without exception, is born virtually a blank slate. Nobody is born uh, good or bad or uh, bigoted or with hatred or any of that bullshit. Okay? Um, so, uh, this brings me to my question, um, for all my fellow uh, believers out there. Those of you who think um, that for whatever reason we need a Jesus or some sort of savior to redeem us from our natural sins that we're born with. Now, from what I just told you, um, obviously, modern psychology and years upon centuries of studying human behavior has shown us, like I said, that we are all born virtually blank slates, that nobody is born good or bad or any of that shit. So, my question is, what the fuck is the point of a savior when there's nothing to be saved from because you are inherently neutral? You're not inherently bad. You know, just something to think about, toss around in your head, you know, pass the time, I guess, while you're taking a shit, whatever. So, have a nice day.